Thank you very much, Dr. Hill. Well, by the grace of God, we're just about back on schedule. How about that? We've been blessed over the past 2 days to hear so much of value from our speakers, our workshop leaders. Perhaps we'd save the best for last. I leave it to you to judge. Tennessee's own Reverend Franklin Sanders serves on the board of directors of the League of the South and edits the League's own publication, Free Magnolia. Be sure and pick up your bundle to take home with you and distribute throughout your community. It makes an excellent recruiting tool. Since the year 1980, Reverend Sanders has run his own company, brokering silver and gold. You heard a bit about that earlier. And Reverend, he publishes his own financial newsletter, The Money Changer. His efforts for grassroots monetary reform swiftly attracted the interest of the federal government and its minions, and thus began a nearly 2-decade-long nightmare for Franklin, his wife Susan, and their entire family. Constant harassment escalated to criminal trials on the state and federal level. The feds and their state lackeys battered him, ruined his business, threw him in jail. He remained unbroken. His remarks today bear the intriguing title, Reform is Better Than Secession. Please welcome back to the podium, Franklin Sanders.
I'm very grateful. All of you, this year in our family was the year for heart surgery. Heart surgery I do not recommend as a form of entertainment. My 5-month-old granddaughter was diagnosed with a malformed heart last Christmas. Had to have heart surgery, had more heart surgery in April, and is doing much, much better, and only has to have one more surgery. And then my wife had to have heart surgery. We found out in July she had to have heart surgery. So you have prayed for us. And a number of you have come up to me and said, we were praying for your wife. And I am sure glad to report that she's still 98.6. And God heard your prayers, and I appreciate it very, very much. If you are not sure, I am not Michael Hill. Folks, I'm tired. I'm tired of taking heat as a secessionist. I'm tired of being called a racist, a traitor, unpatriotic. So I'm joining the intellectual mainstream. I'm painting my red state blue. I'm jumping on the imperial bandwagon. I'm getting with the program. I'm becoming respectable. From now on, I'm backing reform and not secession. I'm going to be a reformist. I'm going to work within the system to reform the system instead of trying to get out of the system altogether. After all, it is an empire. But one problem with the empire is that it just keeps growing and growing. And, well, frankly, it would be perfect if we could just cap that growth and trim it back a little bit. And as a good evangelical Christian, I know the best way to reform the system: pass a constitutional amendment. After all, they're so easy to pass. So here's my list of constitutional amendments that I'm going to begin working for in order to reform the empire. There are too many people who work for the government, first of all. So we need a constitutional amendment to prevent this big drain on the budget and the economy. And so I'm proposing a constitutional amendment to cap the number of federal employees at 50% of all the workers in the country. Unless, of course, there's a national emergency and we need to hire some more. Well, that's not all. I've noticed that this bailout business has really gotten everybody robbed. And I think that we need to limit those in the future. So I'm proposing a constitutional amendment to limit the number of bank bailouts to one a year. Under this amendment, it has more. Under this amendment, the government could not buy more than 10 banks, or one giant insurance company, or 6 hedge funds, or any grocery store chain with more than 65 outlets in any one year. We call this the No Banker Left Behind Amendment. And I have other amendments to reform the economy. Congress shall make no law or regulation that will put out of business more than 18% of all small farmers and businessmen in any one year. Here's another amendment. I call this the Economic and Monetary Freedom Amendment. Congress shall not allow monetary inflation of more than 14% or any budget deficit over $1 zillion. You've got to draw the line on these people somewhere. So there's something else we've got to reform, and that is the way corporations control our government. We've got to do something about it. So I've got a constitutional amendment that I'm preparing right now, working on the legal language that provides that no more than 48% of the federal budget can go to subsidize corporations, including defense corporations. Including defense corporations. I'm interested in health care, too. I think we need a constitutional amendment to control the FDA. The FDA and the big pharmaceutical companies are just completely out of control. They're not responsive to the public will. So I want to see a constitutional amendment passed that the FDA may not approve in any one year more than 10 drugs that will eventually be found to kill people. We need to raise the standard of imperial government too. We need to reform it and improve it. And so for that reason I've got the Excellency in Presidency Amendment. Under this amendment, we will not have to have any more presidents with an IQ lower than 80. Now that I think about it, we'll probably have to wait until the next election cycle for that one to take effect.